We knew that Stellantis, and I reported this here recently, that Stellantis was working out tariffs with the president directly, and that they were trying to get some stuff done. And it looks like that what that workout is going to be is what they wanted anyway. You're going to have to assemble it here in America, or you're not going to sell any heavy-duty trucks. Just saying. Welcome on back to Auto Intel Daily. Let's roll this. We'll be right back. Heard a lot of comments. You guys like the intro here at Auto Intel Daily because it's only a couple of seconds. We don't have a lot of music. There's not an offensive scat pack doing a burnout through a parking lot. I get it. It's a different vibe over here than it is at TK's Garage. But so news has been coming out today that the president is set to, and by signing this tariff, has put a 25% tariff on top of what they already have had going back and forth on all heavy duty trucks, light duty, medium duty. What does that mean? So we got clarification from the White House on that. 2,500 Rams, 3,500 Rams. Yeah, you're going to pay 25% duties every time, tariffs, every time you drive one of those suckers on a truck or a train and put it here in the United States. How can they fix that? Very simple. They have an assembly plant right now where they just ended, or they're going to end production of another vehicle in the Wagoneer and just focus on the Grand Wagoneer. That they have plenty of capacity at Warren Truck Assembly Plant to put together the 2,500 all day. The 3,500, I understand, is going to have to be some major tooling. I've heard people say it won't fit. Maybe you have to run that at Jefferson or somewhere else. But one of the things that I find interesting here is the crying. And this is not me picking on or picking at Tim. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying it's not Tim's purview on if they're going to manufacture it. It's a company thing, right? It's something Antonio Filosa and the board of directors are going to have to figure out. Do we want to get bent over and have something like this railed up inside every time a 2,500 that video is going to do great. A 2,500 or a 3,500 Ram comes across the border. Of course they don't want to pay that. So the president said, you don't want to pay that? It's real simple. Hyundai's building new plants here. Porsche's talking about building plants here. Your final assembly takes place here in the United States. If you have final assembly in the United States, then you don't have this issue. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This isn't a hard issue for them to figure out. And I saw that, Senator Moreno from Ohio, who's an auto guy, was in on this with the negotiations. And I thought that they were going to negotiate a deal where they would get X amount of time to be able to move these products. Now, here's the thing. Before Antonio Filosa became CEO at Stellantis, he was we knew he was going to get that role anyway, but hold on. Before he became the chief executive officer at Stellantis, the chairman of the board was basically running the company. And he had his own negotiations and discussions with the president and made some promises that products were going to move. And they were going to move them to the United States. And they were going to suspend other ones and not import other vehicles here to kind of do what the president wanted. Well, That didn't happen. Now, the president came in what, January? You've had 8 months. In that 8-month time period, you literally could have retooled or had tooled enough to be able to have 2,500 trucks be running at Warren Truck Assembly Plant now. Like, and I've seen the excuses from people that work at Stellantis where they go, oh, we can't retool that fast. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. If it makes money, it makes sense. If it costs you money, it don't make sense. And the thing that drives me nuts is I just invested. I said this over on TK's Garage that I was going to be investing big into the company, and I am. Even though when I saw this tariff news, I was like, this is bad. And, but the sales numbers look good to me in terms of the turnaround. So I jumped in with both feet. I jumps in it. I jumped in with both feet. Why? Well, I believe that the company's going to turn around, and it's not going to be because of Maserati or any other European crap. It's going to be because of Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And I think Antonio Filosa is smart enough to be able to convince the board and talk to those idiots there and say, hey, do we want to pay 25% every time one of these come across the border, or do we put an assembly plant in Texas, and do we increase our capacity at Warren Truck and have final assembly here in the United States so we can avoid that? Even if it costs a little bit more money, it still don't cost 25% more. And it's those common sense things that I think will turn the company around. And like I said, I can only look at the moves that I've seen Antonio Filosa has done, with the executives that he has put in charge of all the different brands. And the only ones I give a shit about are Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. But seeing what Tim's done in very short order, it's not even been a year yet. The Hemi's back. We got a supercharged Hemi 650 horsepower truck. SRT division's back. It hasn't even been a friggin' year. Think about that. This is huge. So, yeah, the 25% tariff is going to suck. Yeah, it's going to cost money in terms of their stock price for sure. And it's probably going to hurt them bad in the short term. But it's not going to hurt just them. Ford's laughing because they're going, hey, I think they build theirs in Kentucky and somewhere else. So they were like, ha. They're like, our light duty, medium duty trucks, they're built here. Like, we don't care. We're not screwed by that Mexico policy. But Stellantis, i.e. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, mostly Ram, is going to have to get on board and get on board fast before it costs them too much money to do business. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.